contaminated area.
Hey, what is up everyone? The LDB is back at it again, coming at you today with my Hunter's Faith PVE build for 1.8.3. Now, this build is extremely strong. It hits like an absolute truck, especially if you can land those headshots, and I've also found with this build a couple different ways you can run it by simply changing a single talent on a weapon. So, as always, if you enjoy or find these videos helpful, definitely smash that like button, subscribe for future content if you are new to the channel, make sure you have that notification bell on, as well as go ahead and drop a comment down there letting everybody know how you're running Hunter's Faith in 1.8.3. So, let's get into it. Okay, so let's go over these skills and talents really quick. Nothing too crazy here. I'm going to be going with a Recon Pack Pulse simply because, like I've said in previous videos, it does have the lowest cooldown time and the highest crit hit chance out of all of the pulses. Now, I'm really not focusing as much on the crit hit chance as I am the damage. The damage is definitely where it's at for this build, and getting it back as soon as possible as well. Now, the crit hit damage on the Recon Pack is 16.2% and the cooldown is 38.7 seconds. The reason I bring this up is because I see a lot of people running the tactical scanner, and that's fine. You can use whatever you want, but to begin with, the crit hit chance is lower. The crit hit damage does go up a little bit, 17.3% compared to 16.2%, so that's a whopping 1.1% difference. Really not optimal in my opinion when you take a look at the cooldown, 56.7 seconds compared to 38.7 seconds. Almost a 20-second difference there on the cooldown, so in my opinion the Recon Pack is definitely where it's at. You will get a nice chunk of crit hit damage and you will get it back much more often. So moving on to my secondary skill here, the Booster Shot temporarily increases damage and damage resistance, and well, obviously heals you as well, but the temporary increase of damage is what I'm focusing on because this build has so much firearms and all these other modifiers that push the damage up. When you pop this, 15% damage up, and that's pretty much just like the cherry on top. Now moving on to the signatures, I've been going with the recovery link because I do have such low stamina that sometimes you do need to pop this even if you are with a group. You know, they might not like it, but if someone doesn't have a support box down for you or anything like that, you know, it can get kind of rough. So either way, I've been running with that. Now, if you are running with a group, you could always go with a tack link as well because it's pretty awesome when you get like 100 stack and then you pop this. It's just amazing. You one-shot everything that you touch, and it's amazing. So other than that, let's go on to the talents and see what we got going on there. Okay, so the talents that I'm going to be using are Tactical Advance. Complete a cover-to-cover move to increase weapon damage by 2% per meter covered for 5 seconds, up to a maximum of 30%. 30% damage up is a big deal when you already have everything else that we got going on this build. So like I showed in gameplay, as you can see, they pretty much just fall down as soon as you hit them, and it's an awesome thing. It is a little bit situational, but when you can pull it off, it's definitely worth it. Now, for anybody that's a sniper, any kind of reduced recoil to stay on target is a great thing. Enter any cover to reduce recoil by 25% for 10 seconds. Pretty straightforward and very useful. I do have precision on here, headshot a hostile to pulse them for 10 seconds, so when my pulse does go down, this will take effect, so on and so forth, and it definitely helps keep your crit hit chance and damage up all the time. So moving on to the last one here, one is none. Headshot a hostile to have a 50% chance of not consuming the bullet. That is a big one because on this build I do not have any ammo rolled onto anything, so I am running low on the ammo part, and this has definitely been helping out a lot. So let's move on to the build itself and get into the good stuff. And here it is. So, as you can see, nothing crazy. We have a 6-piece classified Hunter's Faith. We got that firearms at 9,900, so I should be able to break 10,000 once I fully optimize this. This is a work in progress. The stamina is at 2,900, so we are a total glass cannon. There is nothing stamina about this. It is all firearms on top of firearms on top of firearms. You know, but as long as you pick your shots wisely, kind of hang out in the back, especially with the weapon talents that I'm going with actually reward you from shooting from a distance, you know, you should be doing just fine. As well as if you're on a team with any kind of a healer, you know, you're that much better off. So let's actually take a look at what we're going to be getting from Hunter's Faith. Okay, so the 2-piece gives you that plus 20% optimal range. That's really nice on a weapon that already has a lot of range. You know, push it an extra 20%. You know, that's great. The 3-piece gives you another 10% headshot damage, so that's awesome as well. Now, the 4-piece gives you the Talent Hunter's Faith. Each consecutive shot with a bolt-action marksman rifle that hits an enemy deals 3% more damage. The damage bonus is increased by 4% for every 3,000 firearms. The bonus damage is removed once a shot misses a target upon weapon swap or reload or after 10 seconds. So basically, in a nutshell, you're stacking damage kind of like Striker, just in a different way. But basically, being at 9,000 firearms there, and that multiplying that 3,000 by 4%, we should be at 12 there, and then plus 3%, that's 15% damage up every time you land a body shot. Now that's that's pretty good right there. 15% damage up every time you land a shot. That's not bad at all, and it gets even better once we move on to the 6-piece. The 5-piece gives you another 20% range and another 10% headshot damage. But again, the 6-piece right here, this is where it's at. Headshots double the gained increased damage bonus. 2 consecutive missed shots are needed to lose the bonus damage. So basically this is saying that when you shoot them in the head, you're going to get 30 on a stack instead of 15. And that is an awesome thing. I mean, especially shooting from a distance, you can pick your headshots, and once you get to 100 stack, it's just nasty, and you are doing insane amount of damage. And it gets even better because it takes 2 consecutive missed shots to lose the bonus, which is great for me. Like that, I'm mainly an SMG guy, so the marksman rifles aren't exactly my my best asset and my strongest suit. But either way, that really helps out a lot because even if you are good with a marksman and you miss that one and you're like, man, that should have landed, you still got one more shot to make it happen. And that works out really nice. So other than that, let's go on to the weapons, and then we'll get into the gear pieces specifically. Okay, so as far as weapons go, during the gameplay I did show using a couple different weapons and just try to show you the different numbers that you can get depending on your playstyle and what you might want to be going for. Both of these weapons are maxed out. They both have 172% headshot damage. The base bullet damage is 171,000. One of the weapons does not have any mods on it because I was just swapping mods between one to the other, so that's the only reason for that. But I just wanted to go over the talents more or less. We have Deadly Prepared on both of them, and then the given talent is different. We have Competent on one. Weapon damage is increased by 10% for 15 seconds after using a skill. So if you pop your booster shot, you get that extra 15% up, and then on top you get another 10% from Competent. That is working out awesome, especially when you pair that with Prepared. Damage is increased by 15% when more than 30 meters from your target. So if you're hanging back and just picking your shots like you should be, that's really going to come into effect and really hit them hard. And you have Deadly. Crit hit damage is increased by 15%. Pretty straightforward, just getting that crit hit damage up so when it lands it hurts them. And which takes me to the second weapon here. We have Deadly Prepared, and then we have Disciplined. This just kind of, I don't know, it kind of just came to me. I don't know, I was kind of, as you can see, I have a duplicate here of Deadly Prepared, and I was just kind of messing around with the given talent, and just Disciplined happened to come up, and it kind of clicked for me here. Killing a target will make your next shot with the weapon an automatic critical hit. So I recommend this for challenging mode. You could go into heroic or legendary modes, and you can one-shot them with this, but it's a little bit harder because they have a lot more toughness, right? In challenging mode, it's absolute butter. You don't even have to hit them in the head. You can hit them in the body, and sometimes that'll one-shot them, which will make your next hit an automatic crit hit. That's why we were stacking the crit hit damage. Get that damage up on top of the headshot damage with Disciplined. Oh boy, that thing goes to work, and it is amazing. And again, accompanying that with Prepared and Deadly, it is awesome. You almost kind of turn into your own little Deadeye, because as long as you kill that first NPC, the next one that you hit, it's an automatic crit hit, and if you drop him, it's an automatic crit hit for the next one and the next one, and then as long as you can chain that together, it will just keep on going to work. Now, as far as the mods go for the weapons here, I have a magazine with mag size, crit chance, and crit damage. The optics are headshot damage, crit chance, and damage. The muzzle is crit damage, crit chance, and headshot damage. And the underbarrel is crit damage, stability, and accuracy. And as you can see on the other weapon, it's crit damage, reload speed, and accuracy. Basically the same thing, and then I was swapping the rest of the mods out. But as you can see, both of them have their perks. They both work out excellent. It's really up to you. I'd say try them both out and see what is, more your playstyle. Either one should not let you down. So either way, let's get on to the gear pieces in the specifics and get onto that character sheet as well. Okay, so my chest piece is rolled for firearms with health, enemy armor damage, and increased kill XP. And I have 2 firearms with damage to elite mods on here. Now, they're pretty good mods because they're plus 210s, but they're only 3% damage to elites. If they were the 4%ers, that would definitely help out a lot, and when I go to the character sheet, I will explain that a little bit more. So moving on to the mask here, we have that rolled for firearms with enemy armor damage, damage to elites, so pretty good right there. And we have a firearms with damage to elites mod as well on that. Knee pads rolled for firearms with crit hit damage, shock resistance, bleed resistance, and damage to elites. So again, doing pretty good there. And the mods, we have a firearms with damage to elite mod and a 2% pulse crit hit damage mod. You want to get that crit hit damage up as much as possible. Again, any way that you can, do it. And I'm telling you, it'll hit them really hard, especially if you are using that disciplined weapon. So moving on to the holster here, we have that not really rolled anything specific other than firearms. I pushed that up there, got the crit hit chance on there, and we have a 2% pulse crit hit damage mod on there. Now the gloves we have rolled for firearms with marksman rifle damage, crit hit chance, and crit hit damage. I wish I had a duplicate of the Hunter's Faith gloves. Apparently this is the only set that I have, so I kind of got lucky, but at the same time I didn't. I would swap out that crit hit chance for the enemy armor damage, again, especially if you are going with the disciplined weapon. So now moving on to the backpack, I have it rolled for firearms with crit hit damage, burn resistance, and we have a firearms with damage to elite mod on there, and 2 more 2% pulse crit hit damage mods. So that's pretty much the build in itself overall. Let's go over to the character sheet and take a look at that really quick. The weapon damage, again, 170,000 per bullet. The crit hit chance, nothing special. The crit hit damage, 121%. I feel like this is a pretty happy medium between the crit hit damage and the headshot damage of 216%, because if I take off the scope that's a headshot damage scope and I put on a crit damage scope, the crit damage will go up, but then the headshot damage drops down to under 200%, and vice versa if I, swap for the headshot instead of the crit damage. So right here I have a pretty happy medium going on. The accuracy, stability, got a little bit of that. Look at that range. 84 meters range. 84 meters away, and you can hit a headshot. As long as you can see it, you can kill it, basically. That's amazing. I'm loving it. So moving on to the marksman rifle damage, up 12%. Got the damage to elites at 43%. Now again, if I was to have the 4% mods on there, that would be another 5% on top there. Got 5 mods at 3%, and if you had them at 4%, that's an extra 1% per mod. And I mean, 48% instead of 43 really does make a big difference. And the enemy armor damage, again, if I could have put that on the gloves, it'd be a little bit higher. We're only at 14%, but again, it's been working out pretty good. So overall, that's about it, guys. I hope you enjoyed or found this helpful in some way. If you did, definitely smash that like button. Subscribe for future content if you are new to the channel. Make sure you got that notification bell on. And go ahead and drop a comment down there letting everybody know how you're running Hunter's Faith in PVE in 1.8.3. So until next time, guys, I hope you take it easy. I will see you then. Later.